Responding to a great speech by the Apostle Peter, a crowd responds with great faith. Many were baptized and lives were changed. The narrator of Acts tells of how the people changed by giving their lives to God. A reading from Acts 2:43-47. Awe came upon everyone because many wonders and signs were being done through the apostles. All who believed were together and had all things in common. They would sell their possessions and goods and distribute the proceeds to all as any had need. Day by day, as they spent much time together in the temple, they broke bread at home and ate their food with glad and generous hearts, praising God and having the goodwill of all the people. And day by day, the Lord added to their number those who were being saved. May God add a blessing to the reading, hearing, and keeping of this divine word.
The book of Proverbs says, "Turn your ear to wisdom and incline your heart to understanding." Today we are listening to understand. Union Church is listening to voices from faith traditions we do not typically encounter on Sunday mornings. During this 7-week series, we explore perspectives from the Jewish, Islamic, womanist, God and our beloved animals, today Native American, and then artificial intelligence communities, and then finally differently abled communities. You can see the former ones on YouTube, and you can check them out. We've been getting good responses to these. This listening series is based on one of the last prayers Jesus prayed as described in John 17. This overheard prayer of Jesus asks that the world may all be one. This prayer is a motto for our beloved United Church of Christ, John 17:21, that all may be one. Jesus' prayer acknowledges the divisions of the world that cause pain and cause death. Jesus prays with the divine for true reconciliation so that all the world may be unified into a holistic divinity, that all may be one. Today we seek to listen so that we may gain wisdom and that our hearts may be reconciled to the whole of God's divinity. Today we are fortunate to hear from Andrew Johnson. Andy is no stranger to our Union Church of Hinsdale. Andy is married to Penny Johnson, good for you, and they have been members at Union Church for more than 30 years. Andy has been a leader in many aspects of our church community, including trustees and social justice, and as many of you know, he sings in the choir. This morning, Andrew Johnson speaks to us as an enrolled citizen of the Cherokee Nation. He currently serves as the executive director of the Native American Chamber of Commerce of Illinois. He founded this organization in 2018. Previously, he was executive director of the American Indian Center of Chicago. Most recently, he founded the Illinois Coalition for American Indian Rights. This organization works to form a Native American caucus in the Illinois Senate and House in addition to promoting legislation. His other board responsibilities include the Chicago American Indian Collective, an Indigenous Nations Museum where he serves as the treasurer, the American Civil Liberty Union Board, and he was instrumental in the passage of several state bills related to American Indian causes. Included among them are Native American Employment Plan Act, student dress code policy that allows for culturally appropriate attire to be worn at school ceremonies, and a legislation that mandates teaching of Native American history in our schools. He's also a member of the Illinois Secretary of State's Native American Advisory Council, the City of Chicago Native American Engagement Council, and DuSable Park Commission. The reason we asked Andy to do this is because he is so deeply knowledgeable and that he is very good at sharing the Native American faith perspective with us. So please welcome Andy Johnson.
OCO. That is hello in Cherokee. So let me hear it from you. OCO? Hello to everyone. Let's just real quick with our agenda. We're going to talk about smudging. It's a blessing, a ceremony that many of us perform, particularly in our area. Hey, thank you, and why the presentation is important, some of the content. And yes, we will have Indians 101, and yes, that is a real thing that we talk to each other. Should we say these, give some of these basic information or not? But talk about man's relationship with the natural world, the journey of life, moral foundations of values, and then we'll have a prayer here at the end. But it's something where within the native religions, the life of living what is stated in our Gospels, but what happens when you try to live those. So we're going to start now first, though, to put ourselves in the proper frame to smudge. Oh, I got to advance. Let's go through this. It's an offering, and it is a sacrament. There are 4 medicines in here with the sage, cedar, sweetgrass, tobacco. Each one has a particular reason, characteristic, and embodiment. So with sage, there's strength, clarity, wisdom. Cedar, purifying. Sweetgrass, the hair of Mother Earth, and kindness. And tobacco is the gift for the Creator. And what one does is to light these and to anoint your body with the smoke. You can't come to everybody. So, in your anointing, you say your prayer, and the smoke will act as the messenger. And the smoke will rise, and your prayer will be delivered to the Creator. So, say your prayer, and the Creator will hear. So I'm going to be a walker and a talker today because I've got to read just what I put up there. But as with many of our presenters, the content of this presentation was not always allowed. So this is very, very much a thank you. If you recall the imam that was here a little bit ago, the Jewish felt, and I've heard this from many of the Jews, thank you for allowing this to occur. In the case of our people, this was specifically outlawed in the Code of Indian Offenses of 1883. It's too long ago. Who cares? That that was in a couple of centuries. This code was not formally repealed by Congress until 1978. So it affected many, many generations. And what did this code contain? It banned native dancing, ceremonies, and practices of the religious people within the tribes, tribal nations. Code gave the Indian agents authority to use force, imprisonment, withholding rations to stop any cultural practices or deemed moral, subversive to the federal government mandated assimilation policies. And so, if you see, this is where the boarding schools came from also, to remove these kinds of thoughts and values. My father was in boarding school. There's also courts of Indian offense created, paramilitary, police forces, paid for, established to replace native governance. So this was highly, highly regulated. In fact, when my father, when he went to boarding school, his mother had to go to the Indian agent on the res and petition for attendance. So, what this is not, I'll go through this real quick. It's not a spiritual guide, not a how-to. What it is, just my view. I'm one person and searching. I'm not here to judge. I'm a hypocrite also. So, and it just relates to the peoples here in North America. So, not Aztec, not Maya, and not tend to be romanticized. They're trying to give real examples with specific tribal nations. So we're back to Indians 101. For many folks, no single native, and that's what it is. People, we're quite diverse. We're not a homogeneous group. 574 federally recognized tribes. So very much in line with the way Europe is, with the different countries there, separate, distinct in terms of language, religion, dress, etc. So when one talks, don't say, well, this Indian said this, or this native guy said this, this indigenous person. Speak in terms of that person's origin, of their tribal nation, and that's going to make things click. Because me as a Cherokee, very different from Bill, very different from others, Navajo today, and that. So speak in terms of those tribes. I believe they would be easily made Christians, for they appear to me to have no religions. Christopher Columbus. So as he indicates, they're often thought to be without spiritual beliefs, and in many cases done so because there was not a separate time, and I'll go into this a little bit later, not a separate time to go in and just one day a week or do that, but it just lived throughout their lives, throughout every day. And then you had Red Jacket. If there is but one religion, why do you white people differ so much about it? Why not all agreed as you can all read the book? So from the other side, there's tremendous confusion about this particular religion. But let's look at man's relationship in the natural world. So we have it from Genesis, make man in our own image, have dominion. Then it continues with Noah and the flood. Fear and terror of you will be in every living creature and all the fish, and they are placed under your authority. Everything I have given you everything. So it's pretty clear who is top dog within our religion. So dominion, what does dominion really mean? And what do we do? Domination, power, supremacy, caretaker. There are some words we heard, the fellow last week, and some others. But when you hear dominion, that's what I see in many cases. It's exploitation of what we have. And as we know, where is man in this? You have God, then man, everything else. Man and beast equal in the Creator? That's an absurd notion. So nature here, it's an inert mass to be exploited, and we can see what's been done. So what's the view of the original people when it comes to this? Human beings are seen as an integral part of the natural order and embraces the whole of creation. There is no hierarchy. The structure that the religious traditions taken directly from the world around them and the relationships with the other forms of life. So therefore, humans speak to and learn from the other animals and the plants. Last week, I had not seen those passages in Job about learning from others, but it's built in there, and that's very much part of this. And then the world is seen as a gift and not property. It's not, you don't have it's out there. It is outside. You have the tree, you have the animals, you have the nature there. And these are gifts to us from the Creator. So if we look at Robin Wall Kimmerer, if you've never read Braiding Sweetgrass, I would recommend it. She is such an incredible lady and so poetic in what she preached. So she is saying, she's citizen Potawatomi. Each person, human or no, is bound to every other in a reciprocal relationship. Just as all beings have a duty to me, I have a duty to them. If an animal gives its life to feed me, I am in turn bound to support that life. If I receive a stream's gift of pure water, then I am responsible for returning that gift in kind. We don't return, well, okay, I won't go into some of those. She also was saying, had the new people learned what original man was taught at a council of animals, never damage creation, never interfere with the sacred purpose of another being, the eagle will look down on a different world. Salmon will be crowding the rivers, passenger pigeons darken the day, wolves, cranes, nehalam, cougars, lenape, old growth forests. We'd still be here. We'd be fulfilling that sacred purpose. On another side, we have the journey of life. So if we look at the Christian view, we had God creation, we have the Genesis, we have the fall of man. We're in a separation right now. So we're seeking salvation through our church, our relationship with Jesus. We're going to reach a point where it will come judgment, and given the lives we live, we'll either be saved, well, salvation, we'll go to heaven, or go to hell. So we see a pattern. So Western European thought, it's linear with how our approach is. There's a beginning and an end to it. You might say, oh, I'm in heaven, I'm going to live forever. But in terms of what we're experiencing here, there is a beginning and an end. So we're tracking history, lineage, preparing for what's going to happen next. But Jesus had to be from the house of David and that. So you got to, you're looking at all of those things. So the world as we know it here is going to cease to exist. And in many cases, people look at this. So there's no value to sustain nature, to take care of this world. It's going to go away. God's going to come. We're going to have Armageddon. All that's going to happen. So what's a native view? This is an adoptable woman. So we have the circle. We have the circle of life. Birth, childhood, adult, and death. We don't really use the term death. One walks on. So if you hear of someone or read it in some of our bulletins, such and such walked on, meaning they walked on to that next world, next kind of a realm. It's still part of this world, but it's a walking into almost that other realm. And it's repeated. So it's always going to be here. And decisions are made based on what is that impact going to be seven generations from now. That it's something where there's not an immediacy to it. How will it affect the world around, the people, 7 generations in the future? So this influences how you treat the earth, how you use these resources, and it's also in terms of sustaining oral tradition versus the development of writing, because others look at societies, oh, they're not advanced, they didn't have any writing. Within the indigenous people there, the original people, there was no need to write. There was a relationship between the people with a trading, with the goods and all of that, and a knowing that there is going to be a tomorrow after that, forever. It is a circle. This world will always be here. If we look at Christian economics, how can you live with what it says here? No unclaimed private ownership, no needy person among them, goods distributed to everyone. You're always going to have poor with you. And if you have 2 shirts, you should share those. But what happened when you had a society, when you had a tribal nation in mind, that this is how he was assessed, or our tribe was assessed, our nation was assessed by Senator Henry Dawes. And this was back in 1885. The head chief told us that there was not a family in that whole nation that had not a home of its own. There was not a pauper in the nation. The nation did not owe a dollar. They own their own land in common. It's built its own capital, in which we have this examination. It's built its own schools and hospitals. Sounds kind of prosperous to me. Sounds pretty much in line with what's there in the gospel. But Senator Dawes went on to say, yet the defect in this system is apparent. Didn't that come out right away when you read, hey, there's something wrong here. There's a defect. He said there is no selfishness, which is at the bottom of civilization. So you had our tribal nation living those. They've gone so far as it can go because they own their own land in common. There's no enterprise to make your home any better than your neighbor's. So consent, give up your lands. And that's how all of our lands were taken, removed, allocated. And that's why you had the Oklahoma land rush there, because all of these lands were removed. And they wanted to make us selfish people so that we could live up to how they wanted our peoples to live. Just a quick side note that even in the Declaration of Independence that we're celebrating, that we as Native people are in there and called merciless savages. I can assure you I'm not merciless, nor am I a savage. I think Penny can say that too. So, but in closing, so let's look at what Chief Tecumseh had to say. Live your life that the fear of death can never enter your heart. Trouble no one about their religion. Respect others in their view and demand that they respect yours. Love your life, perfect your life, beautify all things in your life. Seek to make your life long and its purpose in the service of your people. Prepare a noble death song for the day when you go over the great divide. Always give a word or a sign of salute when meeting and passing a friend, even a stranger, when in a lonely place. Show respect to all people, grovel to none. When you rise in the morning, give thanks for the food and the joy of living. If you see no reason for giving thanks, the fault lies in yourself. Abuse no one and no thing, for abuse turns the wise ones to fools and robs the spirit of its vision. When it comes your time to die, be not like those whose hearts are filled with the fear of death, so that when their time comes, they weep and pray for a little more time to live their lives over again in a different way. Sing your death song and die like a hero going home. So, Winde Ya Ho. That's really, it's a prayer, it's a declaration, it's a calling. So if freely translated, when I am day of Yah is the Great Spirit, and Ho, it is so. I am of the Great Spirit. It's not in, it's that you are of the Great Spirit. Winde ya ho, winde ya ho, winde ya ho, 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 hey ya ho, ya, ya, ya.